So when you get to the Pixlr main page, click here, and then down to the Pixlr editor and launch the web app. You might have to click to run Flash. That's what happened there. You can import an image with a URL, but we're modeling bringing it in from our desktop. So we choose the cover that we had selected, open that, and bring it in. Just expanding the workspace there. And now it's time to bring in the other picture as a layer. So we go up here and we click on Layer, and then Open Image as a Layer. And then you're going to select the other picture. I have a picture of Mr. Edmonds. Click Open. What happened is my picture was so large that I'm going to have to resize it. This is just part of the picture here. Go up to Edit. Free Transform is what I'm going to click so that I see these blue handles that I'm accustomed to. And I get to the corner and I'll click and drag in and then pull the picture back and do it again. It was quite a large picture. Get back and over, there he is. I distorted it slightly. I'll bring it back in like this. And then what I'm going to want to do is isolate his head and face and cut out the rest of it. There's a piece that's not quite on here, and I'll show you what happens when I don't take care of that and have the whole picture inside the workspace here. I'll deal with that in a few moments. So I go over here and I grab the lasso tool. I'm going to save the changes for resizing. Grab the lasso tool to select. I'm going to get just around his eyes, down and below his nose, back up this part of his face, and I'm going to get up to Edit and invert the selection and then click Delete. And I have to go back and invert the selection again just so that I'm not working with this space outside of what I originally selected. So Edit and invert selection again, and then I should be able to, with my moving tool, move him around and get him pretty close to there. To stop those marching ants, I'm just going to push Control D. The marching ants are now stopped. To the right here, notice I'm working with layer 1. When I click on that, I have this option down here, the toggle layer settings. When I click that, I get this opacity setting. And watch what happens to Mr. Edmonds' face as I change the opacity settings. So by doing that, that's going to allow me to now work with a picture where I can see through him to Justin's face and align things a little bit better. Go back over here to my moving tool. I want to get the eyes and the nose a little bit more lined up. So I might go back up to here, free transform again, squish the face, made it wider, just so I can get the eyes and the nose to line up a little bit better. And I could always go back over here and work with the opacity again to see is that working out for me. Control Z undoes the last change. Control Y redoes the last change. So if something doesn't work out quite the way you like, you can toggle back forth through that or work with your history. Now I'm going to try to make the skin tones match a little bit better. To do that, I'm still working on this layer. I can go up to Adjustment and adjust the hue saturation. You notice the color tones change with that. If you'd like, we can show you how you can take your picture and see what you look like with blue hair. For the saturation, he's getting a little bit lighter there. Adjust the lightness. Better skin tone match than it was before. Click OK. I can also use what's called the eyedropper and pick up this color here of Justin's face. And notice that that moved in here. And then I can use something called the color replacing tool, where I'm just going to kind of now paint over here. It slightly changes the skin tone just a little bit without adjusting too much of what's underneath it. Instead of the color replacing tool, I could also just use the brush. The size of the brush up here, and the type of brush is where I can select the size that I'd like to work with. And then if I start to paint, notice, oh, that's a little bit too bright for what I'm looking for. So I'm going to do a Control Z and undo and undo. I'm going to change the opacity of the color. I'm going to drop it down to about 45-ish. And then when I go over and start to paint, it's just a little fainter and you can kind of still see through. I'm going to undo and go for a little bit lighter than 45. Maybe knock it down to 35-ish or so. 33 is going to be good enough. And now when I kind of get rid of that black line, it's just kind of changing the tone so it's not as big of a difference. I can roll by zooming in and out if I want to get closer. Make the changes I like. Again, just painting over the skin tone. Can always undo it if I don't like it too much. Here we go, getting closer. It's kind of fake and plastic. But we'll back out. See how he looks there. I can always undo any changes I don't like. But I think you get the idea about how to bring that in. Now the next part is we're going to bring in another layer. Layer. Open Images Layer. And go get your mag cover name. And the mag cover name pick is something that you created maybe in Google Drawings and took a snipped images of it, or you saved it. But you're bringing it in someplace where you're going to overlay it on top of the magazine cover. I'm going to change the size. Go to Free Transform, change that, change this, bring it over, and resize it and drop it on. Okay. Mine's not the perfect match for this one, but you'll have time to work on it if you like. Have fun. Oh yeah, and now to save it, you want to go up and log in with Google, and then do a save, file save. And then I'm going to choose mine on the Pixlr cloud, or you could also save it in the desktop in front of you. On the Pixlr cloud, give it a name, mag cover Mr. Edmonds, and okay. And then when I'm done, log out. This is what the login setting looks like. Log in, sign in with Google, and you give them permission to choose your account. If a plugin gets blocked, hit plugin and say, okay, run the plugin right now. And then you'll be in. Let me know if you have further questions.